what advice do you give to young photographers starting out?
Well, I think the best advice for a young photographer is photograph things that are important to you. Photograph photograph things that you care about, that you can get passionate about. Because in the end, it's you're the only person who really has to be sort of satisfied and whether storytelling or creating something artistic. Um, so do things that, I mean, if you need to work and make a living through photography, that's great, but make sure you photograph for your soul, for your heart. The other thing is, I think I can't stress enough, really look at photography that has preceded you. Look at the history of photography, other pictures other people have made, and how they dealt with, problems of composition and light. And you can learn so much. It's sort of like if you were a musician, it stands to reason you'd want to listen to music. Or if you wanted to be a writer, you would read literature, whatever. If you want to be a photographer, look at pictures, consume a lot of pictures. And you can file these away in your head and they'll always come back and help you with your work. So, and of course, perseverance and discipline, and anything in life takes hard work, whether you're an athlete or a musician or a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, literally anything is going to require a lot of effort. So, be prepared for that. It's not just a question of walking out the door and click, click, click. You have to dig down deep and spend some time and effort.
What advice do you give to young people when you meet them? And what advice would you give to your own younger self starting out?
Well, yeah, I think kindness and acts of kindness and helping people. I would have. I think that I wish I had photographed more. I wish I had been maybe a little bit more disciplined in my work, but and maybe going to different places. But basically, I think I got it sort of right, at least for me. I mean, I never really have any regrets. I think that's really a mistake to try and second guess yourself and think, well, this or that. I think you have to kind of move forward in a positive way. You can't change the past. So let's just move forward in the best. So yeah, I think that certainly kindness and love are nothing more important than that. And if we can do these little things to help our fellow man, we can't do enough, really.
Talking about effort, there's a wonderful charity that you started in Afghanistan that teaches photography. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So this is a program for young women, girls, to have. We supply the cameras. We have a female instructor who takes these students out, and they wander around their neighborhood or their family or their community or out in nature, and they experience photography or seeing a scene or photographing somebody and what it was about that person that intrigued them, and then coming back later and looking at the photograph that they made and seeing if were they successful is what interested them conveyed in the picture. So it's this kind of workshop. My role is to supply the cameras and the help and the instructor, because these workshops take place in some very remote parts of Afghanistan. Sometimes they're dangerous parts of Afghanistan, and we rely on some really talented, wonderful female photography teachers to go in there. And some of the work that these young girls produce is really outstanding. I mean, some of them have a good eye, and if things were differently, I think they could go on to become, really successful photographers. But I think it's empowering to let them go with the camera, photograph their friends, and to be able to do that creative expression, make a little bit of art, and to have pictures which they can always
Yeah.
have that memory of, So I'm it's a thrill to be able to make that contribution to these girls.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's called Imaginasia.
Yeah.
Uh, and, and the concept behind it for girls, why girls specifically?
Well, it started, we've been doing this for more than 15 years. And it really started after when the Taliban had this kind of reign of terror in Afghanistan and were denying young girls education. Actually, they burned a lot of the schools, and there was no education for young girls. So we wanted to kind of help them particularly, and it just kind of carried on to today, to just focus and I think the Sharbak Gul, the Afghan girl, which I photographed in 1984, and then we kind of reacquainted with her in 2001. That was also another reason we wanted to help young girls like her to be able to have a bit of fun, creative expression, and have that sense of empowerment by going out and being able to photograph their family or their friends.